YouTube, what's good? Thanks for checking out the video where I will be breaking down my client Ryan's form, seeing what he does well, and picking apart the things that we can improve to make him a better trainee, to make him a better bodybuilder. As Ryan is one of my clients that has competitive bodybuilding goals, we have to dig into the nitty-gritty here, really perfect everything that we can, optimize the training to a T to try to elicit the best results for competition possible. And if you're new to the channel, my name is David Martin with DMart Training. I am an online coach, former personal trainer. I have an undergraduate degree in health promotion, nutrition, and exercise science. I've been coaching for about 6 years, pretty passionate about training, nutrition, bodybuilding. I've competed in bodybuilding shows myself, coached bodybuilders, coached transformations like my client Blake, like my client Ryan. I've been around the block a time or two, and I'm looking forward to digging into this training. Before we get into that, if you all wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing it around, doing all those things to help the channel grow is much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get to it. Over the past few days, Ryan has been sending me training footage. So thank you, Ryan, for supplying the content for this video. We have it all queued up. I'm very small now, and Ryan is the star of the show. Let's let the video play. We have some flat bench dumbbell presses here. Starting off good. Nice deep stretch. I like it. Body's engaged. You can tell there's tension throughout, pushing through his feet. Scapula's tucked. There we go. I like this degree of elbow flare. It's going to be a little different for each person, but I think Ryan's doing it good here. So one thing I'm noticing as these reps are progressing, especially towards the end, it's almost like Ryan's kind of heaving the dumbbells off his chest. So I would just say potentially pausing or just really ensuring that you're just pressing up with the pecs as much as possible. Your triceps are going to come into play, but main focus is the chest. So you try to keep most of the emphasis there. Moving on, we have some cable chest flies. Lighting's looking good, Ryan. I see you, buddy. Ryan and I have recently worked in the queue, Hug the Tree. And when Ryan originally sent me form feedback videos, his arms were almost straight. Now you can see there's some elbow bend, which definitely just helps with that peak contraction and deep stretch here. This is everything you want to see. Controls on point. The lighting is nutty. Look at the shoulders. This is some half natty lighting right here. I like what I see. Good stability with the lower body. Pressing it hard. And that's what we want out of the set. Great set. Don't have a ton of feedback there other than you look great, Ryan. Goodness. We might be myo-repping here. Is that the case? This is my first time watching through these clips. I think he is. Oh my goodness. So he's myo-repping here, which means he just kind of did like a rest pause. So right back into it. Same deep stretch. The chest is going to grow. Chest has been a lagging part for Ryan, but if we keep this up, this is looking really good. This is it right here. This is what it's all about. This is what dreams are made of. Hey now, hey now. Into the tricep extensions. Ryan kind of looking like a tall Alex Hormozy right here. A thing that'll have Ryan think about. He's done this, I can tell. But really hinging those elbows back. You can see here. We could be hinging those elbows back a little bit more for some deeper stretch on the triceps, almost as if you're doing like a close grip bench. That's what I think about. A lot of people do push downs wrong. I'll say that. And when you let your elbows hinge back, thinking elbows back and together, that tricep stretch is going to be just worlds different than the typical elbow hinge that you see people do at the gym. So really focusing on getting that stretch on the muscle, that's what we can shift to here. We've already had Ryan playing with his wrist position a little bit. He said he likes to cock his wrists back a little bit because it helps him get a deeper stretch, which, might not be for everyone, but it works for him. And that's going to be something that you have to keep in mind with every part of this form feedback. There's some individuality. Maybe not everything's going to apply. And Ryan's ripping a drop set here, working some intensity techniques in as he is almost towards the end of the mesocycle. And that's the time when you get out all the tricks. You make the training hard, you get the work in, put that effort in, intensity's in, growth is going to happen. We'll have to re-engineer this one a bit. I'm not mad at it though. He got some good work in. And then we have basically what's an incline skull crusher. Ryan and I have been working on that Q elbows together, which it looks like he's really starting to integrate here. I like this. We could maybe control the eccentric a little bit more stretch. Rock the elbows back ever so slightly, dare I say. But I don't like to do a ton of elbow movement because I feel like the stretch versus momentum trade-off is just not there. But this is what we like to see. This is good stuff. So let's do an intensity check here. We're shooting for 2 reps in reserve, which means the rep speed should slow. Maybe could have got one more here. So mental note, we'll make sure Ryan knows, hey, let's push these a little bit. Moving on into some face pulls. I think this is a different set. No, same session here. I like the elbow width here. I like the eccentric control. I like the way the scapula is moving forward. You can really tell he's driving with his shoulders. I love that he's pulling out his elbows. These look good. Intensity looks like it's there. A little bit of body English, but I'm not mad at it. Some of these movements, you just kind of got to rep out and really go balls to the wall. This is one where it's hard to mess it up. Lighting looks good there. Shoulders looking juicy. A little myo rep match here probably, or a myo rep set. I think I actually had him do 20 reps. So basically just 20 reps straight through as far as you can until you have to rest. And then you finish the remainder of those 20 reps. So you're using a heavy weight for this. It's not no light reps, not lightweight high reps, heavyweight high reps with an intensity technique. And then we had him superset dumbbell upright rows. Really, for Ryan's program, shoulders aren't a huge focus, so I might just throw them at the end of the workout. Superset, quick intensity techniques. We don't spend a ton of time on them because they're a strong point for Ryan's physique, and we have to dedicate the time and recovery resources towards his biceps and his chest. That's where he really needs to improve his physique to become, feasibly competitive. So shoulders get touched, they get worked. You can see he's working hard here. This form is pretty good. Wouldn't really change much about it. Once again, this one is, I feel like you can have a small degree of body English in this. Basically bias his bicep, tricep, and chest training over his shoulders just because they're a strong point. So if you have those strong points in your physique, just keep in mind symmetry and flow. You want to make sure everything's balanced. Sure, it's fun to work those strong points, but at the end of the day, this is bodybuilding. And overall, we're going for proportion. So that's what we're focusing on with Ryan's training. Looks like we're into a new session here with some chest supported rows. Love this Arsenal machine. Ryan's versa gripped in, as you all should be. This is a heavy machine. Definitely would want to see him round a little bit more at the scapula. You can reach down farther. He does it a little bit. You see there's a little bit of scapular rounding forward. We can stretch that deeper and then retract back, squeezing those shoulder blades, really just focusing on pinching those traps together behind your back. This is quality work. We can make some tweaks here and there, but overall, can't be mad at it. Alrighty, into some pull-ups. Still got the pump cover on, despite breaking a sweat. Love you, Ryan. Pull-ups are tough, especially when your arms are that long. I don't do pull-ups well. I think these are decent reps. This is one thing that I think is important to work into a routine because the stretch on pull-ups for lats is, very hypertrophic. It's very beneficial. That being said, I wouldn't say these are perfect reps, but these are good pull-up reps. He definitely has a pretty consistent range of motion, pretty smooth. And you can tell that his lats are mostly the driver. I think we have a little bit of core, a little bit of body English assisting with some of these reps, but hey, that's going to happen with pull-ups. That's why I usually do pull-ups into assisted pull-ups or pull-ups into a lat pull-down when I program. So he probably will have some more lat work to come in this session. I think in arm training, there's a lot of room for a lot of different stuff. I lean more towards the large range of motion in the stretch, but sometimes just something as simple as alternating curls with some heavy load can really just drive stimulus to the biceps in a way that those lengthened movements can't. And that's why I think it's important for your program to have both those longer and shorter muscle lengths. But Ryan's rocking these out, keeping them in control. I can tell he's targeting his bicep. Might be a little sway in here, but that's okay. I do like this. I do think these type of movements have a place in your program. You can listen to the science, but hey, we're out here in real life too. Science in mind, but you got to incorporate both anecdote and the research. These lateral raises looking really good. Like how we're keeping some tension at the bottom. You can tell that the tension is being applied to his shoulders. That's all we can ask for, right? The tongue bite. He's going Michael Jordan mode. Love it. I honestly think with these, we need to have Ryan go a little heavier with the rear delts. Sometimes, in most cases, rear delts are just going to be a little bit stronger than the weight that you'd use for the lateral raises. So great eccentric control here. But I think to better and more effectively target the rear delts, we're going to want to go a little heavier. But I think this like straighter arm, driving those elbows out, that's the good cue to target your rear delts, and make sure that your back isn't taking over. You're actually using that back part of your shoulder and not just squeezing your shoulder blade together. Moving into some leg training. Everyone's favorite, Bulgarian split squats. Good solid control on the way down. I like the constant tension here. A little bit more eccentric control is what we'll need. And then potentially a way to get a deeper stretch. Looks like he could go deeper. And this bench is just not very tall. So we can elevate front foot or try to elevate the back depending on what's needed. That was just one foot though. You'll see towards the end, he's pushing pretty hard here. I don't mind the proximity to failure. It looks like this was a good hard set, which is what we're working on, is pushing hard during leg training. It's because it's hard. But I think he got there. I think he did. See, nobody sends calf training. Love that attention to detail, Ryan. Big thing I like here, calves are looking juicy. Deep stretch. Squeeze the top, not overemphasizing the top. I think really hanging out in the deep stretch is what matters most on calf training. And you see people bouncing way too much. That's good control on the way down. Stretch. Boom. That's what you want. That's how you're going to build calves. None of that bouncy, trying to stack out the entire machine. If you're training calves the right way, you should not be maxing out the stack, in my opinion. It's just probably not going to happen. Nice set. Pushing it hard here. I like higher rep ranges for calves, 15 to 20. And he looks like he's fighting through that burn. The burn does get very intense. But hey, it's what we're here for, right? Long set. All right, the meat and potatoes here. Hack squats. The feedback that I gave Ryan based off of the first week's clips that he sent me was get your feet down a little bit more for more knee flexion. Look at that beautiful knee flexion. I think we can control the eccentric a little bit more towards the bottom. We're kind of getting down there quick, but overall, good stretch. Could also think about rocking some yoga blocks to get a little deeper, because I feel like this machine's safeties might be the limiting factor there. But with those constraints in mind, no yoga blocks and the eccentric being a little quick, look at those fucking beautiful reps. Like control's very good. Tension is good. Keeping constant tension. Nice. It's starting to get hard. Probably could have got one more rep there. I think that was a good 3 RIR. We're pushing more towards 2 here. So you'll see slowing down. definitely, but we want one more. Started to slow down, and it usually is going to feel like hell at 3 RIR. Even 3 RIR, it sucks. Leg training is supposed to really suck. But I know Ryan gets after on the leg extensions. It's more of a mental thing. He's a tall guy, so this isn't the perfect setup. But what we could do is grab a hip thrust pad and put it under his knees to get a deeper stretch at the chair, or lean back as far as possible. Overall, though, I like the tempo. I like the control. Not the best machine design, but that's okay. We can work on things to get a deeper stretch. But he's pushing. Look, I know it's getting hard. That burn is starting to accrue. Come on. There we go. Solid set. So that was the form feedback for Ryan. I appreciate you all for sticking this far into the video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, drop them down below. Definitely open and interested to get a dialogue going around these things. I think it really is important to dig into the nitty gritty. If you're really trying to optimize, take your training results to the next level, this is the level of nitty gritty that you can get into to start to unearth some additional results. So overall themes for Ryan, hey, form's on point. We can maybe control some eccentrics, maybe a few things here and there to get a deeper stretch, but the guy has good form. He pushes hard. And I think the thing that we all can keep in mind is, hey, we might think we're training hard, but we can always train a little harder. That's just something that I struggle with. You probably struggle with. We all struggle with it. And that's what Ryan and I are really digging into to make sure he's getting the most out of each session. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. If you want free form feedback, I'll be doing more videos just like this where I'd love to accept videos. Feel free, send them my way. Can give you my thoughts here on the YouTube videos and try to get everybody's training just leveled up a little bit more. Thank you so much for sticking to the end here. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram at dmarttraining. Subscribe here at the channel to stick around for more videos. I'm going to be breaking down my own leg day training in the next video, so be on the lookout for that. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.